Hello guys, welcome to our channel Pinku for you. This is the third class in medieval history. I am less as a teacher, more as a storyteller. Now we will discuss about Vijayanagara Empire. In our previous sessions we have discussed about Mughals and then Delhi Sultanates, Islam. Now in this session we will discuss about Vijayanagara Empire. When Delhi Sultanates ruling India, all the South Indian kingdoms like Kakatiya, Reddis, Hoysala were submitted under Delhi Sultanates. These kingdoms became feudal lords under Delhi Sultanates. Feudal lords means Samanta Rajulu. When Muhammad bin Tughlaq ruling, some kingdoms in Deccan and South India started revolting. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, we have discussed about him in our previous session. If you missed that session, please go through it. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he is from Tughlaq dynasty. When he is ruling, some of the South Indian kingdoms started revolting. In Warangal under Kakatiya dynasty, you might have already know about this Kakatiya dynasty. Famous personality in this Kakatiya dynasty is Rudramadevi. In Warangal under Kakatiya dynasty, Harihara and Bukka, these were two brothers, were ministers in this Kakatiya dynasty. Harihara and Bukka were the brothers who are ministers in this Kakatiya dynasty. Harihara and Bukka were trying to defeat Kampili dynasty. Kampili is a small dynasty which is ruling present day Anantapur district, very small dynasty. They were trying to defeat this Kampili dynasty. During this time, Muhammad bin Tughlaq came to South India. When these two brothers defeated Kampili dynasty, this Muhammad bin Tughlaq captured these two brothers and he forcefully converted these two brothers into Islam. And he asked these brothers to rule under him, just like a feudal lords. After converting them into Islam, Muhammad bin Tughlaq asked these two brothers to rule this south part under him like a feudal lords. Now these two brothers accepted, and bin gave them present day South Andhra and Southwest Karnataka to take care of this region under Delhi Sultanates, and bin went back to Delhi. When bin went back to Delhi, Harihara and Bukka established their own kingdom and they captured Vijayanagara city. It is a famous city during those time. It is one of the richest city in those period. These two brothers captured this Vijayanagara city and then they established their own kingdom. These two brothers fought with Hoysalas and they won battle with Hoysalas. Now they emerged as Vijayanagara Empire. Later they fought with Madurai Sultans. Finally, Vijayanagara Empire has completely emerged in South India. This is the emergence of Vijayanagara Empire. Two important people who helped for the formation of Vijayanagara dynasty is Swami Vidyaranya and his brother Sayana. These were two people who helped in the formation of Vijayanagara dynasty. These people wanted to protect Hinduism from Islam. That's why they helped in formation of Vijayanagara dynasty. These people were Swami Vidyaranya and his brother Sayana. These people wanted to protect Hinduism, so that these two people helped in the formation of Vijayanagara Empire. What these two people did is, they reconverted Harihara Raya and Bukka Raya into Hinduism. These two people converted Harihara and Bukkaraya into Hinduism. Muhammad bin Tughlaq converted these two people into Islam. Later, Swami Vidyaranya and Sayana reconverted into Hinduism. Later, these two people established Vijayanagara. This ruling period is from 1336 to 1643. Swami Vidyaranya and Sayana wanted to protect Hinduism, so that only they converted these two brothers into Hinduism. Foundation of Vijayanagara Empire started at the bank of Tungabhadra and Hampi. Vijayanagara Empire ruled 4 dynasties. Totally Vijayanagara Empire is ruled 4 dynasties. Like Delhi Sultanates, here also 4 dynasties ruled under Vijayanagara Empire. In Delhi Sultanates, Mamluk dynasty, Khilji dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Lodi dynasty. Likewise, here also 4 dynasties ruled in Vijayanagara Empire. Its ruling period is from 1336 to 1643. Now we will see 4 dynasties which ruled under Vijayanagara Empire. First one, Sangama dynasty. It ruled from 1336 to 1485. Salwa dynasty, 1485 to 1505. Tuluva dynasty. One famous person under Tuluva dynasty is Sri Krishna Devaraya. It ruled from 1505 to 1570. Finally, Araviti dynasty. It ruled from 1570 to 1643. These were the 4 dynasties which comes under Vijayanagara Empire. First we will see about Sangama dynasty. Let me open new page. Sangama dynasty. This ruling period is from 1336 to 1485. Just now we discussed how this Vijayanagara Empire emerged. In that, first dynasty is Sangama dynasty. Founders of this dynasty were Harihara Raya and Bukkaraya. Founders were Harihara Raya and Bukkaraya. These were brothers and they were working as commanders under Prataparudra of Warangal, Kakatiya dynasty. In later period, these became rulers and they established this Vijayanagara Empire. Swami Vidyaranya reconverted these people into Hinduism, and this is how Vijayanagara Empire emerged. Now we will discuss about Bukkaraya. His ruling period is from 1356 to 1377, whereas Harihara Raya's ruling period is from 1336 to 56. He had totally 40 years battle with Madurai Sultans. He fought for 40 years with Madurai Sultans. These brothers never fought with Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq came to know about they reconverted into Hinduism, but Muhammad bin Tughlaq not interested to fought with these two brothers, and these two brothers were also never fought with Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Harihara and Bukka said, "We were Nayaks. means we were leaders. We will lead you, not rulers. We will not rule you, we will just lead you. That's the theme of these two brothers. Not only these two brothers, South Indian kings from Sangam age, they were considered themselves as leaders, not rulers. Harihara became the first ruler of Vijayanagara Empire. Contemporary to this Vijayanagara Empire, Bahmani Sultans emerged in Deccan. That means in Maharashtra region, Bahmani Sultans emerged. We will discuss Bahmani Sultans little later. Contemporary to this Vijayanagara Empire, Bahmani Sultans emerged. There were frequent wars between Sangama dynasty and Bahmani Sultans. Every time war took place between these two kingdoms. Next, after this Harihara Raya and Bukkaraya, the next ruler was Devaraya I. He constructed a dam on the river Tungabhadra at Hampi. According to a Persian traveler, Perishta, Devaraya I and Bahmani Sultan fought for a gull. Bahmani Sultan leader was at that time Taizuddin Tiroz. And Devaraya I, they used to fought for a gull. Her name is Nahal. She is a beautiful lady and daughter of blacksmith in Raichur. For this girl only these two people used to fight. This was told by a Persian traveler, Perishta. Next, after him, Devaraya II is the next ruler in Sangama dynasty. Now we will discuss about Devaraya II. Don't assume that Devaraya means Sri Krishna Devaraya. He is not Sri Krishna Devaraya. He is just Devaraya. Sri Krishna Devaraya came in later period under Tulwa dynasty. Now it is Sangama dynasty. And here is Devaraya II. His another name is Prouda Devaraya. He is the greatest of Sangama dynasty. He took the title Gaja Betakara. Baja Betakara is his title. Gaja means elephant, expert in hunting elephant. So he got the title Gaja Betakara. During his rule, two important travelers came to India. They were Niccolo Conti, he is an Italian traveler, and then Abdul Razak, he is the Persian traveler. These two people said this. He said Hampi is one of the richest city at that time. He said Devaraya II, richest king in India during those period, and also said that Krishnashtami and Durgashtami were two important festivals in Sangama dynasty. He also said that Devaraya II built mosques for Muslims. Devaraya II himself is a Sanskrit scholar. He also expert in Kannada music and he wrote Mahanataka Sudhanidhi. This book is about Kannada music. Mahanataka Sudhanidhi. It is a book about Karnataka music or Kannada music. It was wrote by Devaraya II. Devaraya II used to conduct literary councils. He used to call these councils as Mutyala Salas. He used to call literary councils as Mutyala Salas. Sri Krishna Devaraya's literary councils were Bhuvana Vijayam, whereas Devaraya II literary councils were Mutyala Salas. He is a great scholar in Telugu language also. He patronized Telugu poet Srinada. Srinada's title is Kavi Sarvabhauma, which was given by Devaraya II. This is about Devaraya II. Now we will discuss about Salva dynasty. After Sangama dynasty, next dynasty is Salva dynasty. Founder of this Salva dynasty is Salva Narasimha. Salva Narasimha is the founder of this Salva dynasty. He came to power by a conspiracy and he founded this Salva dynasty. Talapaka Annamacharya was patronized by Salva Narasimha. Talapaka Annamacharya is a great scholar. And he is meant for the Kirtanas for Lord Venkateshwara. Talapaka Annamacharya is in the court of Salva Narasimha. Salva Narasimha patronized this Talapaka Annamacharya. After Salva dynasty, the next dynasty was Tulva dynasty. Sri Krishna Devaraya is the greatest ruler in this Tulva dynasty as well as overall Vijayanagara Empire. But he is not the founder of this Tulva dynasty. Founder of this Tulva dynasty is Tulava Narasa. Tulava Narasa is the founder of this Tulva dynasty. This dynasty also came by conspiracy. Sri Krishna Devaraya is one of the greatest kings of South India. In 1509, Sri Krishna Devaraya defeats Adil Khan of Bijapur. These were also Deccan Sultanates. During Sangama dynasty, Deccan Sultanates came into power, and then after some period these Deccan Sultanates were divided into 5 provincials, that means 5 groups. In that one group is Bijapur. Sri Krishna Devaraya defeated Adil Khan of Bijapur and he took the title after defeating this battle as Yavana Rajya Sthapanacharya. This title is for Sri Krishna Devaraya. Sri Krishna Devaraya signed a treaty with Portuguese governor. As per the treaty, Portuguese promised horses from Persia to Vijayanagara Empire and also promised salt, pepper, potassium nitrate to import. And they also said that they will give training to the army men. This was the treaty. And also in return, Portuguese asked Krishnadevaraya to give Goa region. Portuguese asked Krishnadevaraya to defeat Sultan of Bijapur, so that only Sri Krishna Devaraya defeated Adil Khan of Bijapur. Gajapatis of Odisha was defeated by Sri Krishna Devaraya and destroyed capital city Cuttack also. Gajapatis was defeated by Sri Krishna Devaraya. And Sri Krishna Devaraya also defeated Prataparudra and married his daughter Annapurna. His social reform is he abolished Kanya Sulkam, that means purchase bride. He abolished this Kanya Sulkam. His important works in Sanskrit were Madakasa Charitam, Satyavadu Parinayam, Usha Parinayam, Jambavati Parinayam, Sakala Katha Saram. These were important works in Sanskrit by Sri Krishna Devaraya. In Telugu, Amukta Malyada. These were books wrote by Sri Krishna Devaraya. Sri Krishna Devaraya patronized 8 great poets. They were collectively known as Ashtadhiggajas. These were the great poets. And also Sri Krishna Devaraya got the title as Andhra Bhoja. Tenali Ramakrishna is one among them in these Ashtadhiggajas. Now we will see society during Vijayanagara Empire. During this Vijayanagara Empire, prostitution is more. There was a tax for this prostitution also during those period. It is legal. Custom of sati is there. Krishnashtami and Durgashtami were important festivals. Sanskritization of lower caste also there. Sanskritization means these were low class people who try to imitate higher class people. Low class people, that means low caste people, tries to imitate upper caste people. That is known as Sanskritization. Because of this, new caste emerged. They were Vipra Vinodins and Veera Panchalas. Vipra Vinodins and Veera Panchalas. Now we will see cultural contribution of Vijayanagara Empire. Firstly, they constructed Kalyana Mandapas in temples. It was the first kingdom who constructed Kalyana Mandapas in temples. Cultural contribution. For the first time, Kalyana Mandapas were constructed in temples by Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara Empire represented last stage of cultural glory in South India. Last stage of cultural glory in South India. Vijayanagara Empire gave significant contributions in architecture, dance, paintings. Its architecture style is Vijayanagara architecture. It is their own style of architecture. Now we will see temples which was built by Krishnadevaraya. Some important temples which built by Krishnadevaraya were Hazara Rama Temple, Krishna Swami Temple, Vittala Swami Temple. These temples were built by Krishnadevaraya at Hampi. Chintala Venkateshwara Swami Temple at Tadipatri. He contributed in the construction of Venkateshwara Swami Temple at Tirumala. Padma Mahal was also built by Krishnadevaraya at Hampi. Krishnadevaraya founded city Nagalapuram because his mother name is Nagamba, so that he founded a city and named it as Nagalapuram in the memory of his mother. Now we will see music which was contributed by Vijayanagara Empire. Carnatic music tradition was developed under Vijayanagara Empire. Carnatic music tradition developed during Vijayanagara period. Father of Carnatic music is Purandar Das. There were two important works on this Carnatic music. They were Sangeeta Sarvaswam and Sangeeta Suryodayam. These were two important works on Carnatic music. Annamacharya Purandar Das Swami Vidyaranya belongs to this Vijayanagara Empire. Now we will see about dance forms. Dance. Bharatanatyam is introduced by Bharata Muni and wrote Natya Shastra, and it is explained during this Vijayanagara period. Bharatanatyam. It was introduced by Bharata Muni. Later this dance was developed under Vijayanagara Empire. Next one, Kuchipudi. Developed by Siddhendra Yogi. Kuchipudi is a village in Andhra Pradesh. Its theme is Bhagavata Purana. Next, Perini Natyam. It is a dance form performed by emotionally charged Shiva, Lord Shiva. Next, Yakshagana. Let me open new page. Yakshagana. Songs performed on Mahabharata and Ramayana. These dance forms were developed during this Vijayanagara Empire. Next we will discuss about paintings. Lepakshi paintings was developed by Vijayanagara Empire. Lepakshi paintings. We can see this Lepakshi paintings at Virupaksha temple. Now we will discuss about literature. Swatantra Kavyas were developed during this Vijayanagara Empire, especially under Tuluva dynasty by Sri Krishna Devaraya. Swatantra Kavyas means these Kavyas which are pure Telugu Kavyas, not influence of Sanskrit on it. Next, Prabandha Yuga. It was started with Allasani Peddana. Pancha Mahakavyas. Now we will discuss about Pancha Mahakavyas. These were 5 great Kavyas. Pancha means 5. Maha great and Kavyas. First one is Srungara Nisadam. Wrote by Srinada. Next, Sri Kalahastishwara Mahatyam. Wrote by Kumara Durjati. Next, Panduranga Mahatyam. Wrote by Tenali Ramakrishna. Fourth one is Parijata Apaharanam. Wrote by Nandi Timmana. Next, Amukta Malyada. wrote by Sri Krishna Devaraya. These were 5 great kavyas, that is called as Pancha Mahakavyas. Now we will discuss about various taxes during this Vijayanagara Empire. They used to call tax as sixth. Sita Sulkam. It is the tax on prostitution. Tax on prostitution is Sita Sulkam. Puriti Sulkam. Tax for birth of child. Vivaha Sulkam. Tax for marriage. It is a marriage tax. Surprisingly, they used to get more tax on this Sita Sulkam. So it is a legal during those period. It is the main source for income. Administration system during the Vijayanagara Empire. Administration of Vijayanagara Empire. The unique administration system of the Vijayanagara Empire was called as Nayaka system. Civil servants were known as Nayaks. These civil servants purely selected on the basis of merit. For civil servants, they will be given lands as amarams, paid in land, not in cash, for getting salary. Now villages. Villages were divided into different types. Those were Uru, common village for all castes. Agrahara is village only for Brahmins. In this village only Brahmins were used to live. Brahmadeya, villages around temples. Bandaru Vada, that is village controlled by king. Bandaru Vada, villages directly controlled by king. Next, Iyengar system. Iyengar system. What it means is, Iyengars were village level heads. These were hereditary. Hereditary means Vamsha Paramparyam, like that. These were village heads, Iyengars. And then there were functionaries for these Iyengars. The system is known as Iyengar system. What they used to do is, they have some specific function in village level. We will discuss some of them. Reddy. Reddy is the head of the village. Head of village is Reddy. Karinakam. It is village accountant. Begara. He is village policeman. Talari. He is village watchman. These were all known as Iyengars. Next, last dynasty which comes under Vijayanagara Empire is Araviti dynasty. After Turuva dynasty, Vijayanagara Empire is about to decline. After that, it's a declination phase. This is the last dynasty under Vijayanagara Empire. This dynasty was founded by Tirumala Raya. Tirumala Raya is founded this Araviti dynasty. Capital city is Penukonda. Greatest ruler in this Araviti dynasty is Venkatapati Raya II. Why he is greatest means, he built a church for Portuguese, and also he refused to accept Mughal rule under Akbar. During his time, Mughals were ruling. He is refused to accept Mughals. This is all about Araviti dynasty. Next we will discuss about Bahmani Sultans. Bahmani Empire is contemporary to Vijayanagara Empire. It was founded in the year 1346, whereas Vijayanagara Empire was emerged in 1336. After 10 years, this Bahmani Empire emerged at 1346 in the Deccan region, whereas Vijayanagara Empire is emerged in southern part, that means near the bank of Tungabhadra at Hampi. Now we will see how this Bahmani Empire emerged. There were tax collectors under Delhi Sultanates. When Muhammad bin Tughlaq ruling under Tughlaq dynasty from Delhi Sultanates, there were tax collectors. Tax collectors during Sultanates period were known as Saddam Amils. One of the Saddam Amils, who is working under Muhammad bin Tughlaq, started revolting against this Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Later, this Saddam Amil only established an empire which is known as Bahmani Empire. When Muhammad bin Tughlaq ruling, this Saddam Amil, that means a tax collector, started revolting against to this Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and then he established an empire which is known as Bahmani Empire. This Saddam Amil name is Ismail Muk. And then after establishing this Bahmani Empire, he changed his name. And his name is Alauddin Hassan Bahman Gangu is his name. Actual name is Ismail Muk. After he established this Bahmani Empire, he changed his name as Alauddin Hassan Bahman Gangu. Gangu is a Brahmin who helped in the formation of this Bahmani Empire. So this Ismail Muk just to tribute to this Gangu. Capital cities of this Bahmani Empire were Gulbarga and Bidar. Gulbarga and Bidar were the capital cities of this Bahmani Empire. Bahmani Empire area of operation is North Karnataka, present day North Karnataka and Maharashtra region. Alauddin defeated Harihara Raya. He defeated Harihara Raya. Just now we discussed about this Harihara Raya from Vijayanagara Empire. There were always wars took place between Bahmani Empire and Vijayanagara Empire. Apart from this Ismail Muk, we have two more important rulers from this Bahmani Empire. They were Muhammad Shah I and Muhammad Shah II. Muhammad Shah I and Muhammad Shah II. These were two important rulers from Bahmani Empire. Why these were two greatest rulers means these people, firstly we'll discuss about Muhammad Shah I. He constructed a mosque named Bada Masjid at Gulbarga. Muhammad Shah I constructed a mosque that is Bada Masjid, or we can call it as Bada Masjid at Gulbarga. He is known as Second Aristotle. For his interest in natural sciences. So he is known as Second Aristotle. Muhammad Shah I shifted capital from Gulbarga to Bidar. Firstly, Bahmani Sultan's capital is Gulbarga. Later, during the rule of Muhammad Shah I, he shifted capital from Gulbarga to Bidar. This Muhammad Shah II also contributed many mosques. So he is also one of the greatest ruler in Bahmani Sultans. In later period, these Bahmani Sultans divided into 5 provinces. That means 5 separate territories. These Bahmani divided into 5 parts. Why we will see now. Muhammad Gawan. When Muhammad Shah III is ruling, Muhammad Gawan is the most important commander and he is very powerful. During Muhammad Shah III period, when Muhammad Gawan as a commander, this Bahmani Sultan became very powerful. And Muhammad Shah III shown much interest on this Muhammad Gawan. So what rest of the people did is they complained about Muhammad Gawan, like he is just to establish his own kingdom by feeling jealous. So what this Muhammad Shah III did is, after listening this complaint, Muhammad Shah III hanged this Muhammad Gawan at a place called Kondapalli at present day Vijayawada in Andhra Pradesh. This Muhammad Shah III hanged this Muhammad Gawan. After realizing that it's just a rumor, Muhammad Shah III felt ashamed. Later, some people revolted against this Muhammad Shah III. Like that, this Bahmani Sultan divided into 5 different empires. Like that, only these Bahmani Sultans, that means Bahmani Empire, divided into 5 kingdoms. Those were Golconda, Bijapur, Ahmednagar, Berar, and Bidar. These were 5 different provisions came from this Bahmani Empire. Now we will see how this Vijayanagara Empire came into declination. I didn't say about declination of Vijayanagara Empire. Now we will see about how this Vijayanagara Empire came into decline. It came into decline just because of this Bahmani Empire. In 1530, Sri Krishna Devaraya died. At the time of Sri Krishna Devaraya died, his sons were very minor. They were not able to take power. Sri Krishna Devaraya died at 1530. At the time of his death, his children were very small kids. So they were not able to take the throne. So what happened is, in 1534, Sadashivaraya ascended the throne. Sadashivaraya came into power. Now we will see how this Sadashivaraya came into power. After the death of Sri Krishna Devaraya, his brother Achyutaraya became ruler in 1530. Sri Krishna Devaraya's son-in-law Aliya Ramaraya, he became de facto ruler. That means on the paper he is not a ruler, but he is actual ruler. This Aliya Ramaraya removed this Achyutaraya and he gave throne to Sadashivaraya. That is how Sadashivaraya came into power. Battle of Tallikota. During Sadashivaraya's rule, Battle of Tallikota, or we can call it as Talaikota, happened between this Vijayanagara Empire, that means under Tulwa dynasty, and Bahmani Sultans. Except Berar, remaining all 4 provisions took part in this battle and they defeated this Sadashivaraya in the Battle of Talaikota. That is how this Vijayanagara Empire came into decline and Tulwa dynasty completely declined, and later period Aravati dynasty emerged. This is why I am discussing about declination phase of Vijayanagara Empire while I am explaining about Bahmani Sultans. This is how Vijayanagara Empire came into declination phase. Now we will discuss about these 5 provisions of Bahmani Sultans. First one is Ahmednagar. It was ruled by Nizam Shahi dynasty. Nizam Shahi dynasty ruled Ahmednagar. Rani Chand Bibi, she was most popular woman ruler under this Nizam Shahi dynasty of Ahmednagar. She known for her bravery. She fought with Abul Fazl. Abul Fazl is the commander in Akbar's court. We have discussed about this in our previous session. If you have missed that session, please watch it. When Akbar ruling under Mughal dynasty, he sent his commander Abul Fazl to occupy this Deccan part. So Abul Fazl came to battle with this Ahmadnagar. At that time, Rani Chand Bibi was ruling. She was a very powerful ruler. However, Rani Chand Bibi was defeated by this Abul Fazl. Finally, Abu Fazl won and she lost. Rani Chand Bibi has Prime Minister named Malik Ambar. He is the first to introduce guerrilla warfare technique. Guerrilla warfare technique. That means not attacking the enemy directly. It is a small warfare technique which was introduced in the south for the first time by Malik Ambar during the rule of Rani Chand Bibi. Later, Marathas adopted this guerrilla warfare technique. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj inspired activities of this Ahmadnagar in later period. This kingdom has 8 ministers. Those were known as Ashtapradhans. Now we will discuss about Bijapur. Second one is Bijapur. It was ruled by Adil Shahi dynasty. It was biggest and strongest among these 5 provincials. Greatest ruler is Ibrahim Adil Shah. He is known as Jagat Guru. He is great devotee of Kanakadurga and Ganesh Maharaj. Finally, this Bijapur conquered by Aurangzeb in 1656. Next one is Bidar. It was ruled by Barid Shahi dynasty. Next, Berar. Just now we discussed in the Battle of Talaikota, all these 4 provincials united and battled with Vijayanagara Empire, except this Berar. It is a small dynasty and also weakest dynasty among all these 5 provincials. It was ruled by Imad Shahi dynasty. Next, finally, Golconda. It was ruled by Qutub Shahi dynasty. The founder of this dynasty was Quli Qutub Shah, also known as Bade Malik. Ibrahim Quli is the greatest ruler of Qutub Shahi dynasty. Why he is greatest ruler means he is very proficient in Sanskrit language. Muhammad Quli was founded Bhagyanagaram, that is present day Hyderabad. He founded Bhagyanagaram. Bhagamati is the girlfriend of this Muhammad Quli. So only on the memory of his love, he constructed a city and named it as Bhagyanagara. He built Makkah Masjid at Hyderabad. And also Muhammad Quli Qutub Shah constructed Charminar. Finally, Aurangzeb conquered this Golconda in 1687. This is what about Golconda, and these were all about these 5 provincials of Bahmani Sultans. Those were Deccan Sultans. Now we will discuss about Marathas. Marathas. In Marathas, the great ruler is Shivaji. He was born at a place called Shivnar. Shivnar is a place where Shivaji born. He was actually a Jagirdar. He was a Jagirdar, means tax collector, at Pune. His father is Shaji. Shaji is the father of Shivaji Maharaj, and he is a civil servant of Ahmednagar. Just now we discussed about Ahmednagar. It is one of the 5 provinces of Deccan Sultanates. Shivaji used to have a tutor. His name is Dadaji Kondadev. He taught guerrilla warfare technique to Shivaji. Guerrilla warfare technique was first introduced in South by Malik Kamba. Shivaji influenced a guru called Guru Samard Ramdas. He is responsible to teach about Swaraj to Shivaji. First time Swaraj word came in the history. Now we will discuss more about Shivaji. Shivaji first defeated Bijapur Sultans. And occupied many forts. One among them is Torna. In this fort only he established his capital Raigarh. Bijapur Sultans sent Afzal Khan, a famous commander, but Shivaji defeated these Bijapur Sultans. There were frequent wars took place between Shivaji and Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb is very powerful and cruel leader. We have discussed about Aurangzeb in our previous session. Maratha is like Deccan ulcer. Shivaji started looting all Mughal territories. So Aurangzeb cleverly planned and jailed Shivaji's father Shaji. Shivaji took help of Dara Shikoh. Dara Shikoh is the brother of Aurangzeb. So he took help of Dara Shikoh, and Dara Shikoh released Shivaji's father. Shivaji again started looting Mughals' territories. This time he occupied Surat. Surat is richest city at that time. So Aurangzeb sent Raja Jai Singh. Aurangzeb sent Raja Jai Singh. He defeated Shivaji. Then Raja Jai Singh came up with a treaty. This treaty is known as Purandar Treaty. Just like Sri Krishna Devaraya had a treaty with Portuguese. Just like that, after defeating this Shivaji, Raja Jai Singh had a treaty. It was signed between Shivaji and Raja Jai Singh. According to this treaty, Shivaji's 35 forts has to give back to this Aurangzeb. But Shivaji only gave 22 forts. Aurangzeb asked Shivaji to come to his court. So Shivaji went to Aurangzeb's court. Now Aurangzeb jailed this Shivaji and his son. When Shivaji and his son came to meet this Aurangzeb, Aurangzeb jailed this Shivaji and his son. During this time only Dara Shikoh died. Aurangzeb killed Dara Shikoh. Now Shivaji and his son cleverly escaped from the jail and again started looting activities. Again Shivaji attacked Surat. Surat became rich to poor. After this attack, Surat became very poor. Before that, Surat is a very rich city. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj developed a city. That city is present day Bombay. For the first time in the history, we are hearing about this city, that is Bombay. Now Shivaji declared formation of Swaraj in 1674. In 1674, for the first time, Shivaji introduced a concept called Swaraj. After the announcement of Swaraj, he takes the title as Chhatrapati and Haindava Dharmodharak. Finally, Shivaji died at 1680 due to cancer. Due to cancer, Shivaji died at 1680. Now we will see administration of Marathas. Administration of Marathas. Totally there were 17 departments in Marathas. And also there were 8 important ministers known as Ashtapradhans. We all know that these Marathas were inspired and influenced from Ahmednagar. So only these Ashtapradhans also continued under Maratha kingdom. Tarafs means districts. Parganas means group of villages. Deshmukh, head of village. Deshpande, village accountant. Shivaji removed Raitwari system and reintroduced Jagirdari system. After Shivaji, next ruler of Marathas is Sambhaji. He is the son of Shivaji. Sambhaji. Son of Shivaji. He gave shelter to Prince Akbar. He is the son of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb just wanted to kill his son Prince Akbar because Prince Akbar joined hands with Rajput rulers against to Aurangzeb. So only Aurangzeb wanted to kill this Prince Akbar. By this time, Prince Akbar ran away from Delhi and had shelter in Sambhaji's court. After knowing this, Aurangzeb killed Sambhaji and he captured Sambhaji's wife and children, and he jailed Sambhaji's wife and his children. Next ruler after Sambhaji is Raja Ram. After death of Sambhaji, Raja Ram came into power. Raja Ram is second son of Shivaji. Aurangzeb defeated Raja Ram also. Raja Ram hides from Aurangzeb and escaped to Tamil Nadu. Raja Ram converts these Ashtapradhans, that means 8 ministers, into Navapradhans, that means 9 ministers. Ultimately, Raja Ram died in the fight of Pratapgarh. It is a battle with Mughals. Next ruler after Raja Ram is Raja Ram's wife Tarabai. Tarabai came into power after Raja Ram. She is one of the strongest rulers. She made this Maratha movement very powerful. Even Aurangzeb also not able to control this Maratha empire. Finally, Aurangzeb died at 1707. She is one of the strongest ruler. Even Aurangzeb also not able to control this Maratha empire, and Aurangzeb died at 1707. This is all about Marathas. Next we will discuss about Peshwas. After Tarabai there were no powerful rulers in Marathas. So it got an opportunity for the prime ministers of Marathas. These prime ministers were Peshwas. Peshwas were prime ministers under Marathas. They were basically Konkani Brahmins. They were hereditary, means Vamshaparamparya. First Peshwa was Balaji Vishwanath. Balaji Vishwanath is the first Peshwa. His ruling period is from 1712 to 1720. He is the first Peshwa. He consolidated Marathas into 5 states, just like Bahmani Sultans got into 5 provinces. Similarly, these Peshwas consolidated Marathas into 5 states. Those were Peshwas of Pune, Bhonsles of Nagpur, Sindhiyas of Gwalior, Holkars of Indore, Gaikwads of Baroda. Peshwas were head. These Peshwas were overall head. Next, after Balaji Vishwanath, next ruler is Bajirao I. He is second Peshwa, and also he got the title as second Shivaji. Because he is an expert in guerrilla warfare technique. He became Peshwa at the age of 19. He founded idea of Hindu Padshaahi. That means only Hindus should rule India. He brought many territories under his control. Marathas imperialism is maximum done during this Bajirao Peshwa I. He defeated Portuguese Nawabs of Hyderabad. Bajirao I also supported Mughals. He connected to Mastani, a court dancer incident also. You might have already watched this movie. I mean, most of them might have already watched Bajirao Mastani movie. It connected to this part only. After him, next ruler is Balaji Bajirao. Balaji Bajirao, 1740 to 1761. His actual name is Nana Saheb. He is the founder of Greater Maratha Empire. He removed Ramaraja, grandson of Tarabai, and forced him to sign a treaty called Sangola Treaty. By this treaty, these Peshwas became a complete rulers. Third battle of Panipat happened. In our previous sessions, we had discussed about first battle of Panipat and second battle of Panipat. First battle of Panipat is between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur. Second battle of Panipat is between Bairam Khan on behalf of Akbar and Hemu. Now third battle of Panipat happened. This battle is between Marathas and Ahmad Shah Afghari. Of Persia. Actually, these people
wanted to take the throne of Delhi. But after Aurangzeb, there was no powerful ruler in Mughal Empire. So what this Mughal Empire people did is they asked help of Marathas. So Nana Sahib helped Mughals and they joined hands with Mughals and they had war with Ahmad Shah of Ghari of Persia. However, this Ahmad Shah of Ghari only won the battle in the third battle of Panipat. After losing this battle, Peshwas got declined. And this is all about Peshwas.